What happens when a beloved British acting legend sits down for what should be a friendly chat only to face an ambush of personal attacks and professional disrespect? In just 37 seconds, one inflammatory comment would transform a routine morning show appearance into television history, exposing the toxic entitlement lurking beneath the surface of daytime TV. Michael Caine settled into the bright orange sofa of the Loose Women studio, his weathered hands folded neatly in his lap. He had come prepared for the usual lighthearted banter, the kind that morning shows specialized in. A little nostalgia, a few laughs, maybe a question about his new memoir. Instead, what greeted him was something entirely different. From the moment Denise Welch leaned forward, eyes sharp and gleaming with the thrill of confrontation, Michael sensed a shift in the atmosphere. This wasn't going to be a conversation. It was going to be a skirmish, whether he liked it or not. "Michael, lovely to have you here," Denise began, her tone sugary but stiff. "Now, I have to ask about something that's been bothering me personally." Michael smiled politely, unaware he was already stepping into a trap. "In your book," she continued, "you mentioned you think modern actors are too soft, too pampered. Are you saying people like me don't work as hard as you did?" The air tightened. Even the audience sensed it. Michael adjusted himself, still composed. "I wasn't criticizing anyone personally. I only meant the industry has changed. It's different now." "Oh, but you did mean it," Denise snapped. "You old-school actors love talking about how tough you had it. Meanwhile, people like us work just as hard without the luxury of being handed opportunities." The panelists went still. Michael blinked, surprised by the hostility. "Denise, I think you're misinterpreting." "Am I?" she shot back, crossing her arms. "You're sitting there acting superior because you had to struggle. Congratulations." It was the first moment the audience collectively exhaled in disbelief. Michael's jaw tightened, though his voice remained level. "I'm simply explaining my experience. Your experience of playing the same Cockney character for 50 years, Denise said with a harsh laugh. A ripple of tension spread through the studio. Michael breathed slowly, the patience of decades holding him steady. "I didn't come here to be mocked for my career," he said evenly. "I came to talk about a book." "Well," Denise smirked, "maybe you should have written a better one." The cruelty was shocking, sudden, and intentional. And for the first time, Michael realized this wasn't an interview gone out of control. This was an ambush planned from the moment he walked in. The cameras zoomed in as Michael lifted his gaze, steel entering his expression. "I find your tone unnecessary." "And I find your attitude entitled," Denise countered, leaning back triumphantly. In that moment, everything changed. The interview had become a battlefield. The energy in the studio had shifted into something colder, heavier. Even the production crew, normally unfazed by celebrity tension, exchanged worried looks. Michael Caine sat upright, shoulders squared, his calm demeanor beginning to crack under the relentless barrage. Denise, meanwhile, seemed emboldened by the discomfort she'd created. "Oh, unnecessary?" she repeated mockingly. "What's unnecessary is you sitting there acting like the wise old king of cinema, lecturing us." Michael inhaled slowly. "I'm not lecturing. You're reading hostility where none was intended." "Please," Denise scoffed. "You older actors always think you're better than everyone." The other panelists looked down, pretending to check notes they didn't need. Michael leaned forward, his patience thinning. "I've been respectful since I sat down. You're the one trying to provoke something." That struck a nerve. Denise's eyes flashed, and she laughed again, louder this time, forced, brittle. "Oh, I'm provoking you? You wrote the book. Own it. Don't sit here pretending." Michael nodded slowly. "I am owning it. What I won't do is let you twist it." Denise turned to the camera dramatically, as if appealing to viewers. "Ladies, are we supposed to believe that this man, who plays working-class heroes from the comfort of wealth, understands real struggle?" Michael's hands tightened on the armrest. "I never claimed to understand everyone's struggle, only my own. And you expect us to believe that?" Denise snapped. "You were just lucky, right accent, right time." This time the audience groaned. A line had been crossed. Michael stared at her, disappointment lining his features. "I worked in factories. I earned everything I have." Denise waved a hand dismissively. "Yes, yes, the classic, humble beginning speech. Spare me." Michael's voice dropped, low and dangerous. "I've worked with directors who could end careers with a whisper. None were as rude as you've been in the last 10 minutes." The panelists froze. Denise sat up straighter, her pride bruised. Oh, here we go. The great Michael Caine thinks he's above criticism. Criticism is fine, Michael replied. What you're doing is cruelty dressed as journalism. For the first time, Denise faltered. The crew behind the cameras stopped moving. The tension tightened to a breaking point. Then Denise fired the cruelest shot yet. Tell me, Michael, how does it feel knowing your best work is behind you? That you're basically a museum piece now? The studio gasped. Even she seemed shocked she'd said it out loud. Michael went still, completely still. Then he stood up. Slowly, deliberately. Every eye followed him. What is wrong with you? He asked quietly. And for the first time, Denise had no answer. Michael towered over Denise now, not in aggression but in dignity. The panelists stared at him as though witnessing something historic. The studio's silence was so heavy it seemed to press down on every surface. You want honesty, Denise? He asked. You want directness? Fine. Denise crossed her arms but said nothing. I've spent 60 years trying to elevate the material I was given. I've played everything from soldiers to mentors to broken men. And you reduce all of that to a caricature because it makes you feel powerful. Denise blinked rapidly. Don't psychoanalyze me. Michael shook his head slowly. You invited me here to tear me down. What? Denise's mouth opened, but no words came out. Michael continued, his tone steady but sharp. Is my success a threat to you? Is my longevity offensive? What exactly bothers you so much that you turned this interview into an attack? Denise recoiled slightly, but she forced her voice into something resembling confidence. I'm doing my job, asking hard questions. No, Michael said calmly. You're being needlessly cruel. The crew visibly froze at the accusation. Michael turned to the audience. This wasn't a discussion. It was a setup. For the first time, Denise truly looked shaken. She attempted to regain her footing. You think you're so noble, don't you? So above everyone. Michael chuckled, not kindly. Denise, listen to yourself. You're projecting. Her eyes widened. I'm not projecting anything. Then why are you so desperate? To make yourself look bigger by making someone else look small, he asked. The words hit her harder than any insult. Denise swallowed. I'm not. You are, Michael said softly. And I feel sorry for you. A ripple of murmurs spread across the audience. Denise stood abruptly, as if the chair had burned her. Don't talk down to me. Michael didn't flinch. I'm not talking down to you. I'm telling you the truth. Denise pointed a trembling finger. Your time is over, Michael. People don't care anymore. Michael stepped closer, not threatening, but resolute. People care about kindness, respect, humanity, all of which you've lacked today. Denise's face flushed scarlet. Get off your high horse. Michael looked straight into her eyes. You invited me here as a guest, and you treated me like an enemy. He paused. And for what? Ratings. That struck the final nerve. Denise's expression collapsed into something resembling regret. Too late. Michael exhaled deeply, then turned toward the exit. Find whatever you're searching for, Denise, he said softly. But you won't find it by tearing down others. And he walked. The echoes of Michael's footsteps filled the studio as he walked toward the exit, his posture straight and unbroken. The cameras followed him instinctively, drawn to the gravity of the moment. Not a single person, not the panelists, not the audience, not even Denise, dared to move. Michael, wait. Denise finally blurted, her voice cracking slightly. He paused at the door, but didn't turn fully. What is it now? He asked, not unkindly, but firmly. Denise swallowed hard. She had lost control of the narrative, of the room, of the image she worked so hard to maintain. I didn't mean. Michael turned then, just enough for the camera to catch the quiet disappointment in his eyes. Yes, you did. Those 3 words hit her harder than any comeback. The other panelists now watched her with a mixture of shock and discomfort, silently disowning the chaos she'd unleashed. Michael stepped back toward the center of the studio, not to return to his seat, but to deliver the truth with dignity. I came here today expecting professionalism, he said, his voice calm. I was prepared to discuss my experiences, my reflections, my book. Instead, I was confronted with hostility disguised as honesty. Denise bit her lip, unable to reply. Michael continued, this wasn't journalism. It wasn't even conversation. It was an attempt to humiliate a guest who trusted you. The audience murmured in agreement. Denise finally whispered, maybe I pushed too far. Michael sighed. Denise, I've met people who could destroy careers with a whisper. They never felt the need to belittle someone on live television. The weight of the words settled like dust across the studio. Michael straightened. I won't be part of this any longer. His final look at the room was filled with an almost painful clarity, the look of a man who had lived long enough to spot insecurity masquerading as strength. He walked to the door again. This time, no one tried to stop him. And just before leaving, he turned once more. I genuinely hope you find what you're looking for, Denise. But it won't come from diminishing others. Then he stepped out. The door clicked shut, soft yet final. Silence swallowed the studio. One of the panelists finally spoke, voice trembling. Well, we'll be right back after the break. But everyone knew nothing would be the same. The legend had walked out with his integrity intact and left behind a moment that would echo through television history.